In the vast expanse of the cosmos, our journey began with a dream. We soared like a spacecraft through the competitive galaxies, through asteroid-like spikes and gravity-defying dives. The Prime Volleyball League navigated challenges like interstellar explorers. Each serve a thrust towards success, and every block a shield against the cosmic turbulence. Embark on this celestial journey with us as we defy gravity, reach new heights, and make every spike a shooting star in the volleyball galaxy. Now as Season 3 commences, it's not just a kickoff, it's a triumphant lunar landing of volleyball excellence.
We're all set in Chennai. History is about to be made in a city that's steeped in history, in color, in spirituality, in faith, with its magnificent temples. It is a part of the glorious tourism sector of India, and also remember we're in the Coromandel coast of the Bay of Bengal, and here we are going to be for the next 6 weeks to machao a lot of dhoom as we welcome Season 3 of the biggest volleyball party in the country, and dare I say in the world. My name is Manish Batavia. Welcome all of you on the Sony Sports Network and on Volleyball World. Alongside me are two absolute volleyball tragics. They are romantic at heart for the sport of volleyball. To my right, Louis Lett, he's a masala dosa aficionado, and to his right is a real estate magnate all the way from Miami. Louis Key, it was only 11 months ago that we said bye to you, and you're back.
We never even left, Manish.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I mean, the first time was so nice, we had to do it twice. so here we are.
But the masala dosa is becoming quite a story in your life.
It's a daily routine, and it's so good that I think I'm even going to call my first child masala dosa, should that ever happen.
Okay, women in the whole of England make note. Key Michael alongside has not just been preparing for this series, for this league, but also has been looking at a lot of fancy properties in Chennai, haven't you?
Well, I had to keep myself busy between last season and this season. I had to get some hobbies because apparently volleyball just doesn't exist in the US the way that it does here in India, and I am so excited to be back for it.
Well, the hottest property right now in Chennai is the Jawaharlal Indoor Stadium in Chennai. This is where we're going to be for the next weeks. Every match will be played at this fantastic venue. A few moments ago, we saw a lovely ceremonial moment with the owners and the captains of all the 9 teams arriving at this glitzy venue. Tuhin Mishra, the big boss at the Baseline Ventures, came in first. A quick look at the trophy by David Lee as well. It's nice, it's simple, it's beautiful. These ceremonies with the owners and the captains, this league means so much to these people who make the league happen, Louis.
Yeah, it's a proud moment, I think, not just for the players, but for everybody involved. Indian volleyball's really going at a real fast rate of knots in the right direction, and it's just another big step in the right direction this evening, starting with that beautiful show.
And from what you can see on the faces, everyone is looking so serious. From what I've heard, this league Players, coaches alike, everyone wants to win. No one's just happy just being here anymore. So I'm excited to see who's going to grab it.
Yes, Mr. DG Chaudhary, the owner of the Ahmedabad Defenders, the incumbent champions, made sure that the trophy was handed over to Tuhin Mishra as we're just moments away from the start of Season 3. Remember what we told you, this league does not live in the past. Excellence does not live in the past. It's bigger, it's glitzier, it's grander, and it's got a new team from up north, Delhi Toofans, representing the capital city of this great nation. What does that mean for this league, Louis?
It's great to have a ninth team join this wild ride, isn't it? I mean, the first thing that really strikes out to me is the fact that with a ninth team, we get another 12 Indian players playing on this stage against the best in the country, and the level's just going to rise again, so we're very lucky to have them.
More the merrier, Key, more the merrier?
Yeah, and I think it's about time, right? We've seen the representation from the south, from here, Chennai, and last year, Kochi, Bengaluru, Hyderabad is where we were. And now finally there's a team from the north, and they've come to play. I mean, they picked up some pretty big names. They've got Rohit Kumar, so they're not just here to fill up the numbers. I think they're going to be competitive.
Not just an extra team, but a few new rules as well. The format of this great league has a few changes. It's got a new DNA. There's a Super 5 format as well. Remember, this time we're not going to play all 5 sets unless the teams want, because it's a best of 5. It's a single round robin format followed by Super 5s, where the top 5 teams at the end of the league stage will qualify through to the next round, followed by the knockouts. Remember, it's a best of 5 sets of 15 points each. The first to reach 15 will win the set. If they're locked at 14 all, remember, it will be a difference of 2 that will help a team win the set. This is how the scoring shall happen. 2 points for a win, regardless of what the margin of victory is, and if it's a 3-0 rout, there will be no extra points. If in case you're tied, sets 1 and points difference will be considered in determining the winner. After the Super 5s, the team that finishes at number 1 will get 2 points. The team at number 2 will get 1 point before they embark on the Super 5 journey. So much to play for, Louis, in every set, every point, every game.
Yeah, I love the new rules, especially the fact that you can win 3-0 now. Last year we saw a few games where a team lost the first 3 sets but won the next 2. It gave them a chance to build rhythm, and that's not going to be the case this year. You have to be big off the bat, and you have to be there in the big moments early.
And we also saw a few teams lose steam after losing the first 3 sets. In this case, they know that it's a best of 5, and so they will be a lot more intense on court.
Definitely, and I think the thing that stands out to me is the best of 5, and also the fact that you have to win by 2. It's just feeling more like international volleyball, but it's not losing the best parts, the things that really made it unique and sparking last year, which is basically the super set and the super ace.
Well, intensity is really coded in the DNA of this sport. It's a gladiatorial sport. It's fast, it's frenetic, and with these new rules, it's only going to get players to get on court and give their best. We're ready, most certainly, with this brand new format, and the players as well. A little bit of noise, please, because the players are ready.
मुझे लगता है ये रूल अच्छा है जो बेस्ट ऑफ 5 हो गया है कि मैच जीतने के बाद 2 सेट खेलना, उतना माइंड सेट वो कैरी नहीं कर पाते.
It's a pretty good if we finish the matches, and if it goes well, means we can finish it off and we can come back.
हमारे लिए ये नया है सिस्टम टॉप 5 का, तो देखेंगे क्या होगा. पहले हमारा एम है कि पूल में अच्छे से खेलना और अच्छे पोजीशन में आना.
Our goals remain the same, so whether we have this new rule, whether it's the same as last year, we're going to go into each and every game like it's the last match.
कंपटीशन काफ़ी अच्छा हो गया है नई टीम के आने से.
प्लेयर्स को भी चांस मिल रहा है, अच्छी बात है. अभी नेक्स्ट ईयर में भी एक और टीम आए तो अच्छा है प्लेयर्स के लिए.
यार एक मैच ज़्यादा खेलना पड़ेगा, और उनका टीम भी अच्छे प्लेयर्स को हम जानते हैं पहले से, दोस्त सब लोग हैं, तो या हम श्योर उनके सामने भी ऐसे ही खेलेंगे जैसे चैंपियन बनने के लिए खेलना है.
Well, it's a double bonanza tonight on the opening day of Season 3 of the RuPay Prime Volleyball League. It's the defending champions, the Ahmedabad Defenders, up against the team that finished right at the bottom of the table, the Chennai Blitz, but they're playing at home. And the second game tonight will be featuring the opening champions, the inaugural champions, the Kolkata Thunderbolts, versus the very dangerous Bengaluru Torpedoes, who are being marshalled by double Olympic medalist David Lee. But first, we'll talk about the Ahmedabad Defenders. Key, it's so good to see that a champion side knows what it wants to do, and they've retained their core at the auction. Why change what's working?
You're exactly right, and they're bringing back 9 of their players from last season, and there were some really strong ones. I mean, their MVP of the league was Angamutu. He's got his setter Mutu. You've got some really impressive players that have come back for this league, but Also, Shanti John, who we only saw a little bit of last time, they lost Daniel to Calicut. That's one of the questions that I have. Can Ilya Barov fill those shoes? And yes, he was with Ahmedabad for the World Champs. So I think these players have a pretty good chance of looking strong this year.
Yes, remember there's Angamuttu, the angle man Angamuttu, and then there is, that man, Shanti John. We hardly saw him in action, Louis, last year. I kept talking him up, and it's so good to see that they backed this man once again.
Do you know what? My fingers are well and truly crossed for Shanti John this year. It must have been tough to see his team win the league without him, but he's back this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Yes, and the Chennai Blitz as well have imported their coach from Ahmedabad. Dakshinamurti scoots across to the Chennai Blitz side. It's a wise move, but how does that change the dynamics of this match?
I mean, what an evening for Dakshinamurti. First time coaching Chennai against the team he won the championship with last year. And I think he's got some very, very good players at his disposal, but there's 10 changes. So it's the complete opposite to Ahmedabad. But last year they finished 8th in the league, bottom. So they had to make changes, and they went for the top coach of last year.
Well, they've changed pretty much everything, and they've got to do so because remember, they play for pride. Chennai takes a lot of pride in its sporting prowess, and they've changed everything they possibly could.
Well, they didn't change Akin. That's one of the parts that stayed true to this squad. He was one of the best players in Season 1. He had a rough going last year, as we mentioned. The team really didn't meet their full potential, I don't think. But this year, they've definitely got a little something extra to show there on the court.
Quick predictions, lady and gent, for this first match. Scoreline as well.
Who's going first?
You go first.
Ahmedabad defenders. I think they're going to do a 3-1, and I think it's going to be an interesting ride to see how Dakshinamurti goes up against his former side.
I'll go first. I'll go before you. 3-2 to Ahmedabad.
When did he? You're not supposed to be.
You're not predictions now.
Quickly, Key, your prediction.
I'm gonna go Chennai 3-0. I want to see an upset.
It's so good to see such smiley, happy faces, and the reason the two of us are looking dapper is that our friends at Indian Terrain have agreed to be. They were happy to be our wardrobe sponsor. So a big thank you to Indian Terrain as well. Before we say goodbye, I make a promise to us and to yourselves that you're going to be stuck to the Sony Sports Network for what promises to be an exhilarating 6 weeks ahead. The first match coming up, it's the Ahmedabad Defenders versus the Chennai Blitz. We're coming to you live from the Jawaharlal Nehru Indoor Stadium, Chennai. It's the opening day of Season 3. On the other side, live action coming up. It's match 1. We're coming to you live from the Jawaharlal Nehru Indoor Stadium in Chennai. It's season 3 and the defending champions go first up against the wooden spooners of last year, the Chennai Blitz. Can they script a new story? Can the Ahmedabad defenders make it 2 in 2? Lots of innovations at this league. Super serve, super point, two favorite innovations continue as well. This is what we saw last year. The super serve is a serve that's not been touched by any opposition player. Remember, it's a serve that is worth 2 points. A super serve scored on a super point will get 2 points, and the super point can be used again. But what revs things up, what sets the cat among the pigeons is this innovation that we call the super point, that can be called once every set on or before the 11 points mark. The stakes double. The team that wins the super point gets 2 points and not 1. It's a tricky call really for coaches and captains to decide when to call for the super point. A few serious faces clearly representing the Yellow Brigade, the Chennai Blitz. It's a city that takes a lot of pride in what they do in sport, regardless of what stage it is. There he is, a happy man. Toofans Mishra, the managing director of Baseline Ventures. But this is what we're going to focus on. The Indian Oil MVP of the season. A panel of experts will pick 3 best players from each match and award them points accordingly. The table, of course, shall be updated at the end of every match, and the MVP of the season shall be announced right at the last day of this league. So many suitors, so many contenders for the big prize. We saw Angamuthu do so well last year. The first match coming up in just a bit.
The wait is finally over. The wait is finally over and the excitement is palpable. Welcome one and all to the Festival of High Flyers. Welcome one and all to the 3rd season of RuPay Prime Volleyball League powered by A23. And it starts off at the Jawaharlal Nehru Indoor Stadium in Chennai between the defending champions, the Ahmedabad Defenders, and the Chennai Blitz. So let's start off by introducing the teams. They are the local favorites. They are the hometown heroes. One can say they have the home court advantage. It is the Chennai Blitz!
The Chennai Blitz are here, and the roar of the crowd tells you what's in store for us over the next 6 weeks. There he is, the captain marching on with his troops behind him, hoping to write a new story. We're coming to you live from the Jawaharlal Indoor Stadium in Chennai. My name is Manish Bhattave and I'm joined by Louis and Key Michael, who are set to entertain all of us over the next 6 weeks. Time now to welcome the challengers or the champions, the Ahmedabad Defenders.
Runners-up in Season 1. Champions in Season 2. They have proven that defense is the best form of attack. They will look to extend their reign this time around too. Please welcome your defending champions, the Ahmedabad Defenders!
So, led by their captain, Muthu Sami, there's a loud reception here in Chennai for the reigning champions. It was a wonderful day in Kochi 11 months ago. Angamuthu was the MVP on that evening, but they've kept the main resources of that team, but they have lost their head coach, Dakshinamurthy, to Chennai. And will it be their former coach evening, or will it be an evening that gets Ahmedabad Defenders off to the perfect start?
The Ahmedabad Defenders were one of the best teams to watch last year. I'm so excited to see what this retaining of the majority of players does for this squad.
May I now request all those who can to kindly rise for the Indian National Anthem.
हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Just moments away from the opening game of season 3 of a league that has completely transformed the way this sport is watched, enjoyed, understood and celebrated. He, Michael and Louis Lett alongside are going to be partnering me in the English commentary box over the next 6 weeks. 48 matches, remember. A Super 5 stage as well coming up at the end of the single round robin. The two captains a little while ago, the Ahmedabad defenders won the toss and chose to serve. And so GS Akin's Yellow Brigade, the Chennai Blitz, will receive first. Muthusamy Apavu, Mastermind Muthusamy, the captain of the Ahmedabad defenders, took them to the trophy about 11 months ago. Here a look at their opening lineup. Angamuthu Ramaswamy, the most dangerous player in this lineup. Don't forget LM Manoj as well, Mountain Man Manoj, the blocker. The captain is a key man in this lineup. The setters there as well, and a couple of new foreign players, Ilya Burau and Max Seneca will be on court as well.
Ilya Burau, we mentioned him a little bit in the opener. He was with this team for the Club World Champs, so he's already proven that he's part of this team. He can mesh well with them, and he's going to bring something important to the squad.
Well, Dragan Mihailovic, first game in charge for Ahmedabad today, and it'll be interesting to see how he sets up differently to Dakshinamurti. Dakshinamurti was very safe from the service line. Now he leads the Chennai Blitz team, who have made a lot of changes from that 8th place finish underneath the guidance of the great Ruben Volochin last season.
Well, one of the big changes, Samir, there in the middle. A big pickup for Chennai, young guy, and it's so interesting that choose a really young setter to lead a team like this.
Yeah, he's coming at 18 lakhs in the auction, which is a big spending play. It's actually the most money spent on one player from that man there, Dakshinamurti. And that's interesting because he is 20 years old. Dakshinamurti obviously won this league last year. He knows exactly what he's on about. But for the young setter with a big price tag, it's going to be interesting to see how he lives up in that setting role with that money on him.
Well, we've seen how important the setting role is. And if you're come from the volleyball community, you know it's not always about the big spikes, the big blocks, and the aces. The setter is the one who gets the touches, the majority of the touches throughout the match. It's so important.
Well, the referees for this one.
Mullah Ilyas Shamim and Nanda Kumar to control the proceedings in match 1. It's an opportunity for the referees as well across the country to test themselves on this big stage where there's so much drama, high pressure. This man knows no pressure.
The MVP of last season does not feel pressure. He feels just excitement. He is, you can see it in his eyes when he's ready to play. He's going to be out there all guns blazing, I have no doubt.
Well, we're ready.
Well, the countdown is here and it's time for all of us to say, Ab Machegi Dhoom. Get set to machao some dhoom. As you watch this incredible league on Indian soil, from Indian soil, made by Indians, celebrated by Indians, and enjoyed by billions across the world on the Sony Sports Network and on Volleyball World. It's Ahmedabad versus Chennai. The defenders versus the Chennai Blitz. These two teams are ready to set the tone. Keep an eye on that man, Angle Man, Angamuthu. He is the big threat from the front court. A few foreign coaches as well. 5 of the 9 teams have foreign coaches, Louis, and that's going to be a feature as well, an opportunity for players to raise their game.
Yeah, I absolutely think that's been one of the biggest changes this year. They're investing in more knowledge from abroad, and that's going to bring different systems. I think that we're going to see a more aggressive Ahmedabad side just because they do have a Serbian coach. And there it is, yeah, the VIP lounge, RuPay on the go.
Yes, it's the RuPay VIP lounge. Bit of traffic in Chennai, so I'm sure a lot of our special guests will be there. So when the captain, Muthuswamy Appavu, is all set to deliver the first serve of season 3. Here we go! The biggest volleyball party in India has started, and Chennai draw first blood. Very, very powerful spike that. Ooh, is yellow fever about to grip the nation, or what? Key, Louis, are we all set?
How about Chennai going to the middle on point number 1? That's a statement, and look at the athleticism. Leia bringing absolute fire to the right side.
Such a difficult swing to start with, coming around the setter, being able to hit position 5 from there is not easy, and great start for Leandro Jose, who's the Brazilian overseas player, one of the 2 picks from Chennai.
Talk about coming in clutch right off the bat. Big swing and then an ace to go with it. He is not messing around.
Yeah, interested to see Seneca on the right side that time. Australian internationals, played in the VNL, Volleyball Nations League, a couple of times, and a lot of experience. One of the Ahmedabad side that played in the World Club Championships, where they were tested against the very best teams in the world a couple of months ago.
Let's go! Middles all day long. Talk about a statement play. Akin is ready. He wasn't fully 100% last season. I think he's telling us right now he is.
Situations like this is Dakshinamurti's worth in this game, I think, early on. He's knowing when to release the blockers, he's knowing what to block, and Akin's got him with an early block as well. Everything is flying for Chennai, 3-0 early on, and it's not the greatest start for the reigning champs.
It's an opportunity for Chennai to tell the other 7 teams that they need to forget about what happened to them last season. This is a new season. But a couple of things that worked very well for us in the last 2 seasons have been retained. Chennai take a 3-0 lead. Super point and super serve, 2 key attractions of this league, and I'm so glad that those 2 are still very much a part of the way this league works.
Yeah, these are 2 of the most important points. The super point that can be called any time, up until 12 points, I believe it is.
Yep, the SBI super point can be called for at 11 or before by the captain or the coach. A 3-0 lead for a team that's playing on home soil. Leah to serve. Time for a spike then. Well controlled. Well controlled, that one. Not too much power. That's what this sport is all about. Yes, there is power, but then there's precision as well.
And the ball control so far, from what I've seen, already a couple times the middles have been involved early. And look how quick that ball is, and it's going right on the head of the setter.
Yeah, both teams using the middle early on. That should open up the wings later on to get those one-on-one situations, or at least open up the seams for the hitters. But I'm already sensing that the level's very, very good. The passing's good, the setting looks good, and once again, I think that this league's going in the right direction.
How about an ace serve on the other side? This time, the defenders get a little heavy-handed from the service line.
Again, I'm really interested to see how Seneca performs in this league. He's been playing internationally for some time, and he's just taken speed off the ball and dropped it short. It's a very short serve, and it's a very smart serve as well. Passing unit pushing backwards, they're then pulled forwards, and all of a sudden, there's a great timeout from Ahmedabad moments ago.
The RuPay contactless shot that. Ahmedabad on the board now, 4-1 it is. With Chennai, they've looked nice and relaxed. Clearly, they've started on a fresh note. A clean slate, so important to leave the past behind and start on a good note.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Chennai perform, because it's a completely different team. The likes of Moo's gone, and also the coach as well, Ruben Volichin. So I think we're going to get a very different Chennai team, especially with the money that they've invested as well. I think they've come to certainly party at home throughout this competition, and I don't think we've seen anything to suggest otherwise.
Another great ball in. Ahmedabad picking up a freebie with the net touch. Well, there's one disciplinary thing that often, in these early stages of a match, the league has just started and there's so much excitement, those little errors can creep in.
And Louis, before we went on air, you were telling me something about how Dakshinamurti likes to operate. Reduce the number of errors. That's step 1 in his book.
Yeah, that's the Dakshinamurti way. I'm interested to see the blocker here, Barao. We've seen him put the ball on the floor, but that time he committed with the middle, and I don't think it was quite there. I'm interested to see how he goes moving laterally across the net and when he decides to commit with the middle blocker and when he decides to release to the outside. But the lady sitting next to me knows way more about that than I ever will.
Tough middle to me.
Bomb with the left hand. Well dug out. From a certain distance, they keep in play Ahmedabad. They call the defenders for some reason. He will go again. It's still in play. The longest rally of this league so far. Time for Chennai. Oh yes, what a block! That is a wow moment. How about that from the Ahmedabad defenders? Take that, Chennai.
Well, Chennai looking a little unlucky there as they were hoping to get those 4 touches called by the referee. Instead, they got an absolute super block.
A credit super block, that one.
Well, we've just been proven that the Belarusian can move laterally across the net and he can get an absolute stuffy. What a move that was. And we know this league is a roller coaster, but we've had a 3-point swing to 3-0 and then a 4-point swing to 4-3.
That's what we love about it. The other interesting thing is these teams have only had a couple of weeks to prepare to be playing volleyball at the highest level. This is just the early stages, and those errors that are creeping in have, for me, have a lot to do with just not having played that consistently in the last few months, really.
And also the way that the league works is that the teams have been in holding camps for 3 or 4 weeks, but they haven't had any competitive games. So they haven't even practiced playing and training because it's just been a training camp. And now they're being sort of, let off the leash.
This is the real deal. This is where all the magic happens. All the madness happens. A double thumbs up? No, that one. Not a double thumbs up from Mullah Ilyas Shamim, is it? 5-3 to the Ahmedabad defenders. Chennai haven't scored for a while. They had a 3-0 lead, and it's now 5-3. Time for some spicy, sensational serves that we refer to as super serves. A super serve is worth 2, but for now, let's head into an Amul Cool technical timeout.
Run for the defenders. That is a huge spread. Max Seneca back at the line.
Done a really good job of picking out the front court receiver and putting him under some pressure and making the setter have to go to position 2. Seneca, he's got a good few ranges of serves, and then they're right back in the middle, and they're cooking on gas now, the Ahmedabad defenders. It's the perfect start. Morale's got back in the game, a couple of kills and a block already, Keith.
Yeah, and my question before the match was, does Ilya Veru fill the shoes of Daniel Montezedi, who left for Calicut? And I think he's answering your question right there with that A23 super spike straight down the channel.
I love how they've run the 3-meter attack in the middle of C-ball, and it's just really meant that Atkins having to dive to protect the line. That is straight out the playbook from the defenders. Open up the seams and hammer away.
A champion team takes a very little time to get going. They seem to have found their rhythm already after trailing by 3 points at the start of this one. So many hopes from Chennai. There comes the pipe attack. Well done by the libero. A smart move tried that, didn't work. Time for Ahmedabad to attack. Angle man prefers precision over power on that occasion. A very tactical rally, that one, Louis.
I'm going to throw this out there really early days because we're only 10 points in, but I'm seeing some really big improvements from Mutu Sami at the moment. The first play to run the reverse pipe is really, really impressive, and the work with the middle that he's done so far, equally impressive. I think this is a very good change in leadership for Ahmedabad. We talked a lot about Dakshinamurti leaving, but maybe it might make Ahmedabad stronger as well.
Max Seneca, a 7-point run from the service line. No touch on the block, so there is something happening on this Ahmedabad side. They got a little swift kick in the first 3 points, and they have found something incredible.
The service pressure from that man has been absolutely insane, as it's an all cool. technical timeout. Seneca's playing superbly, and we're going to have a very short break.
Welcome back to the RuPay Prime Volleyball League. It is early days, but the defenders have had something to say. An 8-3 lead so far.
Well, it's been the Seneca show, and that's a great timeout because it's just there to disrupt the rhythm of Seneca. And a lot of time in between points means that he loses his rhythm in his serve. But I feel that they'll be delighted, the defenders, with that run, obviously. And what we're seeing is that maybe Chennai, when they're under the pressure, start to step away from being aggressive in their pass and in their swing. And they have to try and keep those intentions really aggressive through this stage as well.
Yeah, they'll be happy to see Seneca off the line.
Oh, there's so much power on that one. Enough for it to earn them another point. And the buck took very little time to get going, Key.
Pocket Rocket Nanda back in action. I'm so excited to see him. He's one of my favorite players last season because he's an undersized swinger, but look at the athleticism. I mean, he's going up. He's attacking players that are, you know, almost half a meter taller than him.
78 points last season.
He's unbelievable, but again, I've got to give credit to Mutu Sami there. The ball's shifting, he's falling backwards, the blocker comes to the right, and then he shifts it back to the left, and they lose the block, and he's got an avenue to swing on. Very good setting from Mutu Sami.
Better for Chennai. Again, going back to using that quick ball in the middle, and that was working early doors. I think that's something Chennai has to rely on, is getting that better ball to their setter, just like that one, barely a step, and then able to run that quick combination play behind.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. There's a slide attack, but with the middle coming in front of the setter. So it's a release play to the back, and of course, if you're in system and the pass is good, it's going to work. The issue is if the pass isn't there, you can't run those combination plays, and then you're always under pressure.
What a clean swipe that was. There was a RuPay on the go moment. GS Akin, the rock star of Chennai.
Talk about under pressure. That is exactly what a good serve can do for you. Akin with his A23 super spike, it was up on a platter for him. And that starts with the aggressive end line first contact.
What we're seeing here at the moment from Chennai is that when they've got the pass in, they're using the middle well, but they need to use the middle well, and on the wings, they haven't quite made it count so far. So the pass needs to stay there if they need a chance.
Okay.
Well, Chennai claiming the point, and it has been given to them because of 4 touches from the Ahmedabad side. Remember, the absolute fundamentals, only 3 touches allowed.
Yeah, you're definitely only allowed 3 touches. That's not a new rule by any means. But Kevin, he might have got a little bit of the block there, but the referee's saying 4 touches. Seneca, also a super athletic, coming from the pipe though, trying to put a little bit too much angle on it.
I love the speed that the defenders are playing at the moment as well to the wing. I'm interested to see how that's quickened up from last year. It's gone higher to the outside, but the tip's off the antenna. So this run from Chennai keeps increasing, and they're building momentum now after a slow middle period in this set. They're showing that they have the service pressure to compete in the Prime Volleyball League as well.
Well, it's an interesting move from Nanda there. I can see what he's trying to do. He's a little out of system there. He's on his way down, so he's trying to be smart with it and just tip it rather than swing into that big block that had the advantage.
Yeah, for me, they're setting so fast to the pins when they're in system. But as the ball starts to come off the net, it becomes a lot more difficult to run with that same speed, and the rhythm between the spiker and the setter sort of, well, they're out of rhythm, let's put it that way. Oh, here we go.
It's about time. This is my favorite part of this league. The super points. Oh, here we go. Ahmedabad with the first chance. Oh, through the block, and it is not coming back. 2 points for Ahmedabad. That's a big swing.
This is maybe the wildest part of this league, and this is why people pay attention from all over the world. The super point was called. Am I right in thinking that was called by Chennai? Because if it was, they've gone back on the service run, and they've sided out Ahmedabad really comfortably and taken the 2-point swing.
Angamutu on the serve at 11-8. Remember, we're going to 15, but he has to win by 2 this season. That's a new rule.
Absolutely. Ahmedabad at the moment, and that's a huge moment really, Key, when they take off their most effective player, Akin's being removed in the opening set.
Well, I like that strategy because he's about to go back row. So they're bringing in someone who's probably more defensive specialist, maybe better at reception, maybe has a stronger serve. So they're taking him out. His strength is in the front court, so it's not going to be a loss, I don't think, for Chennai.
Yeah, service substitutions. We have a look at Dakshinamurti, who's just planning and plotting the way back here for Chennai after what was a great start, leading 3-0. They lost 8 points in a row, and now they're trying to force a little bit of a comeback. The middle work in this early set from Muthu Sami has been excellent. On the short ball, on the wide ball, he's causing problems for the blockers.
All right, but how about that platform from Max Seneca? He was holding that 2-3 seconds after the contact. So those are those little details that you're seeing out of the Ahmedabad defenders, which is making them so strong right now for me.
The man, Mountain Manoj. And we know that Chennai are big in the middle. They are being one of those, and Akin being the other, and they're giving them the run around at the moment. The wider plays, the quicker plays, and then going to the outside. That's far better. It's good speed, and it's Douglas on the outside that does the damage.
Chennai looking for a little bit of momentum, it feels like right now. They're swinging harder and heavier, but again, that good ball in, and the middle did their job for that RuPay contactless shot. They did it early. They held the middle because of all the work they've done up until this point, so then there's a one-on-one on the outside.
Huge moments here. Chennai, who finished 8th last year, struggled underneath the leadership of Ruben Volichin, have put together some good runs of play. Remember, they won their first game in this league against Kochi last season, but then went on a torrid run of form. Chennai down by 3 after Ahmedabad side out. Key, you love that one.
I love that one. I'm giving that a chef's kiss because, again, when you're not in the moment to have that big swing, that's when the volleyball IQ comes into play.
Well, it's a Chennai super point. Dakshinamurti said it's now or never. This is worth 2. The service is a float serve. It's a smart move from Dakshinamurti, choosing a super point on the float serve. But on the right-hand side, there's an error. And there you have it. Ahmedabad have taken the opening set, 15 points to 10. Well, there's a few players looking on quizzically at the moment, but the first set has gone to Ahmedabad defenders, the reigning champions of the RuPay Prime League. They've taken it 15-10, and it was a super point out the back.
And that's unlucky for Chennai because it was a one-on-one. Seneca was kind of going up Kong block blind, and to make an error on that very crucial 2-point swing, that's huge for Ahmedabad.
Well, they've been good in the middle, Chennai, but they've struggled on the wings so far. I can only remember 1 or 2 points coming on the wings. Too many errors, and it's 15-10. Ahmedabad defenders lead the Chennai Blitz, who finished at bottom of the league last year. The reigning champions are 1-0 up. Well, welcome back. The Ahmedabad defenders, the reigning champions, have taken the opening set here against the Chennai Blitz. And here are the stats. They're more aggressive at the net, the defenders. I think we know that the blocks are the same, the unforced errors as well. So it's definitely on the net where Ahmedabad defenders are making difference. And the middles are certainly doing a job as well, King.
Yeah, and have a look at the RuPay VIP box. As we are all here in the stadium enjoying the first set already done and dusted. For me, Chennai couldn't handle Max Seneca's serve, and they just couldn't get that reception. That's got to be a big change here in the second. Get that first contact going.
Yeah, I would tend to agree, and I'm worried about how many points they've got on the wings as well.
First point, swinging through the middle, off the hands, and again, this was the statement that Chennai made in the very first point. Now it's Ahmedabad taking a leaf out of that book.
Yeah, service pressure plays such a key role in this game. But to the middle once more, Barao has looked really good in these opening stages. As you said, replacing Daniel Montezadi, who's playing for Calicut. He looks like he's filling his shoes pretty well at the moment.
And this man right here, Mutu, he has been, well, apart from that one, he's been fantastic so far. He's been feeding all of his players pretty equally. There hasn't been one standout player that he's been going to. And in fact, he relied really heavily on Mutu last season. We've only seen a couple of sets go that way.
He also relies a bit on superstitions. Apparently, he doesn't want to touch the trophy this season. He refused to touch the trophy. And so we had to get the team owners to bring it on court. Funny things, right? Athletes' minds are a crazy mix of many emotions.
Maybe he's wearing the same socks he wore all season long
No
last year
chance.
as well.
No chance.
Maybe he's that superstitious.
Oh! Oops! The Libro fell over. I hope he's all right. I hope he's all right. Went over the advertising hoardings on that corner. All teeth intact, I hope. Oh yes, I think it is.
Gotta love the hustle. He was going all out for that, but those, I can tell you, those don't feel good. Those.
I think it's just a sign of where this game's at the moment. I think Chennai are really swimming against the tide, and all these little things are going against them, but they can't seem to get a run of play where the ball control's good, or they're feeding the middle, or out of system making good decisions. And Seneca is now back behind the service line, the man from the opening set.
So much is in the mind as well. Do Chennai believe they have what it takes to beat the Ahmedabad defenders? Ahmedabad have looked like a champion side. Max Seneca, clearly the difference in that first set. Chennai had no idea how to deal with Max Seneca.
Well, interestingly, another error touching the net, I believe it was. It seemed as though Chennai had more unforced errors, but actually the numbers said that it was pretty equal in the first set.
Yeah, absolutely, and I've got to say, at the moment, I'm really, really impressed with the new coach, Dragan Mihailovic. Some of the tactical stuff we're seeing is that when the ball's set behind on a long angle, they're blocking cross-court, and they're relying on the fact that the setter's not going to get the ball wide enough to position two and putting that cross block up, and it's being very difficult for Chennai to get past. Again, they're blocking cross on that side. They know there's no line attack, and there's nowhere for Chennai to go.
Force out by the blockers. Another thing Chennai have is a brand new setter, right? A 20-year-old setter who is one of the most expensive players. Do you think it's paying off, Louis?
It's too early to tell, to be honest, but what I'm seeing is they are putting the pressure on the setter. They're making him set long distances and then putting up a two-block, a cross-court block, knowing that twice in a row, the right side hitter's not been able to hit the line, and they've had two blockers there. So that's a deliberate tactic to block the left side, to block the angle on the right side hitter, because that line shot's the hardest, and it takes a perfect set to be able to access all the angles.
Coach Louis, at your service.
Once upon a time.
Who's got to be the playmaker in this Chennai side? Someone to stir the pot, mix things up a little bit. Who do they look at? Not just Akin, there's got to be someone else as well.
I think this is, at the moment, the middles are scoring when they're brought into the game. Leah and Akin are both really formidable forces. The problem is you can't always have your best spikers in the middle all the time if you can't pass. So if the pass isn't in, you can't feed the middles enough. And as I said in the first set, we're not seeing enough points from the outside spikers. And in out-of-system situations, they're not putting enough pressure on the opposition. They're making errors instead.
Ooh, that was deadly down the line from Nanda Gopal. Nanda nukes it.
Yeah, classic swing from Nanda, but I'm loving the coverage as well from Max Seneca. So you saw that first swing, here it is, into the hands, and there goes the pickup. The RuPay contactless shot, because he gets another chance, and then he's got a wide open line to work with.
Again, and these situations are just not where the Chennai Blitz are scoring. When they're out of the system, the first pass is off the net, they're making errors, they're swinging too hard, and Nanda's scoring. A little bit of a difference between the two so far.
Block that keeps it in play. Here comes Akin. No, it's someone from behind. Chennai rearrange themselves, and that one will land outside. It's a rally that Ahmedabad sort of dominated throughout, and then that oops moment towards the end.
Again, though, very quickly, they might not have won this point Ahmedabad, but they've given themselves a chance because of good tactical work. Again, blocking cross-court on the right side, getting the touch. They might have missed that one, but they're building pressure.
And Mutu trying to force Manoj in that situation. So, as you said, maybe it wasn't perfect, but also they're kind of making a statement that they're going to use their middles all the time, and you have to be ready.
The real big issue I've got at the moment for Samir, the new setter for Chennai Blitz, is he's got to get that ball wider to position 2. At the moment, everything's dropping inside, and that's what's not really unlocking the offense at the moment.
Now, tactically, in the past, we've seen that coaches and captains tend to take the super point closer to the 9-10 point mark. How about Dakshinamurthy calls for it slightly earlier? Oh, that is an absolute bolt! Not from the blue, but from the yellow. A bolt from the yellow, how does that sound to you?
Yeah, that's far better. The set's wider, but the pass is better as well, so they're all linked together. This time they give the one-on-one here, so the middle commits because the pass is good. They have the one-on-one, but for me, that's still not a line ball.
I was going to say, A23 super spike, yes, but the set still could have been wider, and it feels as though that the attackers are really kind of dying inside. They're having to move with their feet and their shoulders. They're not getting full height on their contacts. Perfection. Oh! That was a huge block.
It's 1 and 7 combining. GS Akin and Samir are part of that deadly defensive duo. And they made sure that there was no scoring this time for Nandagopal.
So for me, you know I'm in Mutu Sami's fan club this evening, but for me that was too predictable. That ball was falling on him, he didn't get his feet behind the ball, so there's only one way that ball could go. Dakshinamurthy knew it, the middle knew it, they got 2 out, and they made the block.
How much power does that man generate? Ooh. Muscle man, or angle man, call him what you want.
It's good to see him getting some swings as well. I feel he's been a little quiet tonight, but that's what we're used to seeing out of him. He kind of goes straight into the block, no fear. He's always testing the arms in front of him, and that time pays off.
Yeah, one of the big bonuses of being as big as the angle man is that you have the height advantage, and height trumps everything. So you've got the angles, angle man, but also you can just go off hands all day, and you know that they're going to struggle to press and get in your face.
And with that right arm, he can make Armageddon happen, angle man. A pack in the back from Dakshinamurthy. 7-6, how about they take a bit of risk and call for that super point? Well, a 1-point lead. Remember, they had a 3-0 lead at the start of the first set, and then Ahmedabad pressed the reset. But here comes Angleman again, and he scores from zone 2. Adjusted his angle and hit it where he wanted to.
We talk about the width, and have a look at the width there from Mutu Sami. The ball's so wide that the angle man can come through and just choose what swing he wants. He chooses to go off the middle this time, because that's the way his arm swings. But again, Mutu Sami is pulling the strings.
Yeah, Ahmedabad have made themselves in a really good position here now that all the middles have established that zone. Now the outside hitters can do their job as well.
Great presence of mind from Max Seneca there. This time was a tough angle to execute. Wasn't to be. Hits that wide. 7 apiece in the second set. It's in fact it's 8-7, and so we go into an Amul cool technical timeout. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the RuPay Prime Volleyball League. Let's have a look at the new rules. Well, some of them are old, some of them are new, but it's going to be a round-robin format followed by Super 5s and knockouts. Each match in the round-robin stage is just 5 sets of 15 points each, so that's best of 5. That's more like the international game that we're used to seeing. The scoring system, for a 3-0 win, there's going to be no extra point, but each team gets 2 points for a win, no points for a loss. How do you like that, Louis?
It makes it more entertaining, that's for sure. I think I said in the pre-show, didn't I, that the big players have got to be there off the bat in every evening. And we saw the teams lost games by losing the first 3 sets 3-0, but then found rhythm and confidence in the next 2. And Bengaluru, that happened to them against Calcutta last year. And then they went on a little bit of a run from there. And I just think that might stop those runs of confidence or a chance to rebuild, because the small things really add up.
You got to be strong right off the bat. And Chennai were for a couple of points in the first set, but now it's all Ahmedabad looking like they're showing their strength. Another set behind, not wide enough, and there's the push out. The air is creeping in on Chennai's side.
Again, and this is the pressure on the young setter at the moment, is that the ball just isn't there on the right side, and they're allowing these situations to perfect view this. Seneca knows he's got the wrong one. It's actually too wide this time, and it's looking for the brush out, and it's missed.
You know what, if you're watching us on television in Chennai, on Sony, turn up in large numbers. Your team needs you. It's a long tournament, a total of 48 matches, a single round robin. Oh, where did that land? Just outside, I suppose, yes?
Just out. Quite an angle there from Leia, and I like the way that he's going for that. He's trying to avoid the block. He's got that big hands in front of him, but great angle, just out of bounds by a little bit.
I think it's the presence of Muthusamy Apuvu that perhaps forced him to go wider, and therefore the celebration from that man, the captain Muthusamy Apuvu. A 2-point lead for the Ahmedabad defenders.
Some of the things that you can learn on night one, you won't know who's going to win the championship, but what you know about Leah there is that we've seen him hit 5 really well. We've seen him hit the ball back towards position 1, so we're seeing that he's quite rangy in his arm, and that he'll be a very good player throughout this competition.
Here's the Indian Oil MVP of the season criteria for selection. A panel of experts will select 3 top players from each match and award them points accordingly. Clearly the table will be updated at the end of every match, and we shall have our MVP on the night of the finals on the 21st of March. Who's your pick? A wild guess, Louis and Key?
Oh, it's way too early. Way too early to
Just
pick.
a wild guess.
I'm going to jump in. I'm going to go for the Bengaluru Torpedoes. Oh, MVP. You can see that. I can't quite hear you, really. In which case, MVP, that is an early call, isn't it?
I'm going to go with Shanti John.
But he's not even on the court.
He will be.
You back him in every day, every weather, don't you?
Yep.
He's your guy.
Well, it's never going to be a setter or middle or a libero.
Why not?
It's got to be an opposite or an
No,
outside.
it could be anyone.
Well, historically, it goes to a big swinger.
Well, it's interesting because there's no guru. And that's big news in this league this
That's a
season,
good
isn't it?
point.
And he was phenomenal last year. So we miss you, Guru, and we hope to have you back as soon as possible. But it really does leave that open. And I think Angamudi's got a big role to play, to be honest. I think if he has a good tournament again, I think Ahmedabad will be there.
Interesting. Based on what I've seen so far, just in a set and a half of playing, I'd give it to Max Seneca. Based on his serving in the first set, the way he's covering and playing a team all-around game, he's made very few errors, and he's kind of just, he's given it a little something extra.
How about vicious Vineet Kumar? He could be a contender as well. So many names.
Rao, absolutely superb server of the ball.
Super point has been called for meanwhile. 11-9 it is. This one's been called for by Chennai, the SBI super point. Oh yes, they have it! They will level scores. It went against them in the first set. This time, that magic card has worked for Dakshinamurthy and the Chennai Blitz.
Okay, now we're starting to see why they paid big money for Samir. We won't see it. The SBI super point, absolute crush. It's a beautiful bit of work. But Samir flipped that first ball back from a ball falling away from him. And that's a sign of a very good young setter who doesn't just flip that to fall because it's the easy option. He flips it back and all of a sudden they build through that rally and score. Impressive work from the young setter.
There's a question now. We're in review because the question is, did the attacker go over the net? You have to keep your arm in your play on your zone. Just imagine there's a wall that goes between the net up into infinity. And if you reach over to the other side in your attack, you're called over.
It's getting pretty lively down there, isn't it? And you can understand why. These short sets are intense, and when there's 2 points up for grabs, it's going to ruffle a few feathers. Key, I personally didn't see it.
Points gone to Chennai, and now we've got another super point called. Right on cue from Ahmedabad.
Let's go.
That's why we love this league. We
This is
love it.
why we love it. We got back-to-back super points. And it's a huge moment for both. It's a float serve again. It's a real good chance, but it's almost Shrikant, who had such a brilliant competition last year, has just, I'm not going to say shanked the ball, but he's just gone a little bit wide with that first pass. But they get a second chance, and it's the angle man! Angamutu, super point on the right side. Ahmedabad go up by 2 super points in a row. Wow.
Well, a team that comes in with a winning mentality is gutsier. And they showed the guts to go for a super point and trust that man to make things happen. He is their magician on the attack, angle man Angamuttu.
And I think that Shrikant will be a little bit of a sigh of relief there after the first pass going a little bit wide, but side out opportunity for Chennai. Akin gets blocked. It's a really good reach. Manoj has just gone straight into the straight angle of Akin. He comes in facing 5. Manoj gets his hands in front, and it's a 3-point lead for Ahmedabad. Set point to go 2-0 here on the opening day of the season.
And look who's back to serve. Odo. Let's see if he can make a difference as well. We've seen him at the front court. I'd like to see a little more strength on this serve. Oh, good shot. Thunder! Hello. No one even touching that point, and he closes it out. 15-11, Ahmedabad.
Woo! The serving of Seneca puts him under pressure, but the speed of descent from Mutu Sami opens up the gap in the block for the RuPay contactless shot. And Nanda puts it away beautifully. They are cooking, they're firing on all cylinders, and they lead 2-0 here in Chennai.
Such a good performance so far. 15-11 in the second. Make sure you stick around. We got more volleyball coming your way.
Well, welcome back to the RuPay Prime Volleyball League, where the Ahmedabad defenders are off to the perfect start. Just a reminder of the tournament format, a single round robin format, followed by the Super Fives key, which are very, very exciting.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me as well is that we're playing to 15 points, but you have to win by 2. So we're going to go all the way up to 20 or 21 if necessary. That's going to be the last point. We're capping at 21.
Well, there's a reminder of the league rules on the opening evening of the RuPay Prime Volleyball League. We go single round robin, then to the Super 5, where the first place team goes straight in to the finals, and the rest will play off in the semis. But for the reigning champions so far here in Chennai against Chennai, it has been the perfect start as we get ready for set 3.
Good touches there by Seneca. Back set to the front. We love that. Out of system play, Nanda on the set this time. And again, some clever moves there by Seneca. Oh, what a defense. Like that hang and bang. And finally, Chennai get the first point. And they had to work for it.
They really had to work for it, but again, what we're seeing is aggression on the wings from Philip, I think, this time. Libero steps in, stays strong in the core, and in these out-of-rhythm balls with the ball off the net with no middle, they haven't been strong enough tonight, the Blitz, and this is a step in the right direction for them. Being aggressive, hammering and looking for hands. It's not the hands that they get, but they get the score, and Philip is delighted.
Philip, a last-minute addition to this squad. Big swing through the middle again, and the statement plays continue. And I feel as though Mutu's just really reading the situation so well. Every single time we've seen him set the middle, barring 1 or 2, maybe, it's been a point for the team.
But he's running the middle on a wider set here with Mutu on the front court. So what that's going to do is push the middle blocker to the right-hand side, and it's going to open up a one-on-one in a moment for the angle man on the right.
Struggled with the one-head set. And I think eventually a net touch called on Leia there, but that's a really tough spot again for the young setter to have to work with. I'm impressed with that one-handed set, but it's just his team's not putting him in good positions.
The first pass is putting them under all sorts of pressure at the moment. Look at how many times we're seeing them out of system where they can't use the middle. They're having to go to the outside, and it's just bringing Ahmedabad and their blockers right in the game. On the flip side, Ahmedabad's passes in, Mutu Sami's running the game, they have all their options available, they're getting one-on-ones, and that's why it's one-way traffic. It starts with that first pass.
Well, Chennai will be really happy to see Max Seneca off the line. He had something like 7 or 8 point run last time he was there in set number 1. So that's maybe a change of things, a sign of things to come for Chennai.
This time through the pipe for Ahmedabad. They've run the middle, now they run the pipe. Mutu Sami starting to spread this play all over the court, and because of that, the blockers of Chennai don't know where the ball's going. It's a really well-organized offense here from Ahmedabad this evening, and I can't be more impressed from what I've seen, Pete.
Super A23 spike from Angamutu. Look at him on the outside. He gets just enough space and he'll take it every single time. I mean, the blockers are pretty much as good as it gets on top of him, but he gets that tiny slice.
Well, that black band on the arms of the Ahmedabad defenders players in memory of their owner Raj Chaudhary, who unfortunately passed away last year. And our thoughts with the Ahmedabad defenders and the family as well. Another RuPay contactless shot to give Chennai some hope. That one, a rocket from Raman.
What you can see from Chennai, the first pass goes in. They want to run this fast offense. They can run the fast offense when the first pass is good. They can create opportunities, but they have to stay consistent.
Yes, Raman was one of their retentions before the auction a couple of months ago. Here come Chennai. Oh, from a distance. Allows Angamutu enough time to align himself with where that spike was coming. All it takes is that man Angamutu stop such a spike.
Well, that's a lot of guts to swing into that huge block, but it pays off for Ahmed. Look at just on the bottom of your screen, you can see that ball going out. Angamutu's hands, I believe it was his, angled just towards, oh no, Manoj, in fact.
Sorry
Just
about
not
that.
contact.
It was the two of them in the block. Man Mountain Manoj and Angamuthu Ramaswamy. 4-3 to Chennai in the third set. They've got to win this one to take it to fourth and then possibly to fifth.
And I think this is better from Chennai at the moment. They're starting to score a few points. But again, the way that they're set up and they're organised, Ahmedabad, I think they're very organised this year. Because even though they're scoring, they're still having to make really good swings against two blockers that are perfectly joined together because they've read the play, they're tactically astute. So can they hang on here, Chennai? Can they keep the pass in? Let's have a look.
Ooh, I'll say, how about that? Anda is playing out of his socks. And this is why he's such an impressive player. You know that the players like Manoj and Angamuthu are going to get those big stuffs, but he's one-on-one. Look at the elevation.
But once again, the service tactics on the front court receiver, they're forcing the setter to go on the longest line possible. The set's not quite there, the blocker's got time, and they've done their homework to get the blockers in the right place. I think this is a tactical masterclass from Ahmedabad as well, Keith. I really do.
Out of system again. There's that roll shot this time, bit smarter on the outside. But Angamuthu comes back even harder on the end line. Everything seems to be falling into place for this team. Not to talk it down though, I mean, things are coming into place because they're putting them in place, right? They're getting themselves in good positions. We're seeing them cover themselves. Angamuthu now getting more and more ball, and that has a lot to do with how Muthu set up that offense to begin with.
Chennai need a long passage of magic because the Ahmedabad defenders have been relentless tonight in the opening encounter. And pretty much everything's gone their way. Much as expected from Ahmedabad. Their win last year was not a fluke.
Well, I called a 3-0 win for Chennai in the opening set. But yeah, Ahmedabad is looking really good. This is pretty much, like we said, it's pretty much a repeat of the team from last year. They kept that core intact, 9 players returning. So they've had that time to get to know each other, to learn each other's strengths and weaknesses, and kind of build that core group that are playing together like they know each other well.
Also important to put things in context for Chennai. They changed pretty much everything, barring a couple of retentions, Raman and Nakin, the two of them. And so perhaps Chennai will take some time, Louis, to get their rhythm right, to be able to understand each other.
Maybe. I think they've been, at the moment, outplayed all over the court, so I think it does help. It's a RuPay contact, the shot back to the action. And again, the pass is really good. The middle's on time. The middle commits with the opposing middle. The one-on-one's open. Muthu's running the game based off a perfect passing display. The passing and the serving from the defenders so far has been the real difference between the two and their tactical sort of setup in the block defense.
Big swing from Chennai going off the block. And again, Nanda from the backcourt. He is just everywhere. And the efficiency. Again, Muthu, I gotta keep giving him credit. He's beating the right player at the right time every single time.
Well, the reigning champions are looking good here in Chennai. It's time for them all call technical timeout and a very quick break.
Well, it's been Ahmedabad all the way so far in this match. Chennai will need some magic. That A23 super spike from Nanda tells you that he's in the mood for 100 this season. 78 points in season 2. And if this is how he's going to go on, well, watch out, world. Watch out the other 7 teams. And looks like the captain has found another very, very sharp weapon in his arsenal in Nanda Gopal. It's not just Angamuttu. The Ahmedabad defenders have looked like a very well-oiled unit. They retain their core. And the auction, 8-6 it is. Akin's got to really do the heavy lifting for this side.
Well, big swing there straight through the middle. Akin hasn't seen a whole lot of ball. I'd like to see him get a little bit more ball, if you were to ask me. But again, in that moments when the middle is possible, that's when the setter of Chennai is trying to spread the ball out and get those one-on-one situations.
Remember, Bengaluru versus Kolkata coming up. The Torpedoes from Bengaluru versus the Thunderbolts from Kolkata. That's match number 2 tonight, starting right after this, so don't you go anywhere. 8-6. Can Ahmedabad finish it in straight sets, or can Chennai take it to 4 or possibly 5? They need to win this one. This is where they've got to keep going. And Ahmedabad are wanting to inflict more damage. They've called for a super point. Remember, this one is worth 2. Here we go. A chance. Chennai can spike now. A double block. Took a touch before it landed outside, and Chennai have won the super point. Scores level in the 3rd set.
What a wild play that was for a super point. It's a soft serve for it, and it's SBI super point, but it's a soft serve. And you expect Srikanth to pass it well, but he's struggling off the slower serves.
Yeah, interesting time to call it, but that could be a game-changing point because now we're tied up in the 3rd. And if I hear correctly, something else is coming up.
And at the same time, Akin has been subbed off twice already in this game for a service substitution. But yet, in the big moments, he managed to make a play off of Srikanth, and they're used to such big service pressure, these boys, that when the softer one comes, it's a difficult challenge.
Good point. Sometimes the top spin can be easier, though. The float spin, if you're not used to watching volleyball, has very little spin, if any, on it. And that can catch the players really high, or it can drop out of the air, so it can be really difficult to receive.
What's Mutu up to?
I'll have given a 2 point.
He wants the substitution, I think. Well, Dakshinamurti is getting well stuck in here as well. Will this be the year that we see him lose his temper? I wonder.
Doubt never happening.
No, I don't think so either.
Icy cool blood in his veins.
Just like us 3.
I mean, it's pretty hot in the stadium. I don't know about you guys. The volleyball is heating up.
The heat of volleyball.
And you think for Dakshinamurti, he's brought a lot of these players through junior level as well, the Mutus and the Angamutus. It must be a big evening for him. It must sit quite funny.
Great stuff from the libero. And the Ahmedabad somehow keep it in play. Their defense is being tested in this rally. Here they come now. Pipe attack. Oh, soft touch. Delightful, delicate, deft touch, that one. That's how you flummox the opposition.
That's a Manesh word right there.
They do look flummoxed.
The flummox right there. Welcome back to the RuPay Prime Volleyball League.
That's got to be, I mean, that's a contactless shot because nobody was there, and they're targeting Akin, who's in the backcourt, and strategically, you talked about him being subbed out a couple of times. That was why, for defensive plays like that, the middle blocker is not best suited.
No pancakes in the menu for Akin.
No dosas.
On that pipe attack, the defense have to flatline, so they will have to take a step back from their first defensive base, and all of a sudden that tip becomes a very good option. Smart play from Ahmedabad as well.
Sorry about that, Louis, because we've just been served a super serve. That's worth 2 points. Wow! We shall remember that one. Well controlled, just enough power. Great precision from the lefty there. We saw him do that last year. This one was a magical Indian oil super serve. How about that?
And that's harsh on Chennai.
Good one, Louis. Almost as good as that serve.
Why we love this league.
There's a serving specialist, Harsh Chaudhary. Boom! The block. Everything going Ahmedabad's way. They are in the mood to finish it.
How about the setter getting the block as well? We don't see that all that often. Usually the undersized of the blockers, but he's coming in clutch tonight.
But the one-on-one situation, he makes a late move into the angle, so he says, now you see it, now you don't. It's very, very good. It's a Cred super block, and it's all about Mutu this evening.
Again, that set from Chennai not making it to the wings, and that's just been again and again, over and over, been the problem for Chennai.
This is what I love about this league, is that the level's getting better and better. We didn't see those decisions from Mutu last year, diving into the angle when it's a one-on-one situation. That's things we see.
Well, we saw that super serve, and that's one of my favorite parts about this league. It means no one else touches it. When a player serves a ball and the other side doesn't have a chance to touch it, it's worth 2 points. If it's scored on the super point, it doesn't count as 2 points. It just counts as the super point points. But these are some of the most fun rules in volleyball, and I hope to see people implementing them in the future in other leagues.
And it really does make coaches think about when to use it, how to defend it, how to defend the serve, how to use your weapons from the baseline. And Gamudu, he's now struggling to access the line on the right side. It's out the back, and it's back to a 3-point lead for Ahmedabad. But nothing to panic about, because these plays have been few and far between. Seneca has to set it. He's 2 underneath the ball there, and Gamudu, so his arm can't come through, and it ends up going out the back.
But Ahmedabad have been really good about those out-of-system plays so far. That one doesn't pay off. I think they're in the long run, more and more often, they're making something out of that. Oh, so close. That ball called just out of bounds. Unlucky for Chennai, because Ahmedabad are creeping just closer and closer.
I have to say, I've been incredibly impressed in this short space of time from Dragan Mihailovic, the head coach. Just the small things that you can see have changed. I think a slightly quicker offense, varying out the offensive options with Mutu Sami, so they've obviously worked through that as well, but also their understanding of the block is better than last year, in my opinion.
Service pressure from Ahmedabad. They're taking a leaf out of Bengaluru's book.
Well, you know what that horn means.
Yes, we do. Super point called by Chennai. They are at a last-ditch effort. Let's see how it plays out. Oh! Crucial point for Chennai. Leah dominating from the back.
Maybe that's a chance then for Chennai. Leah steps up in the middle and puts it away. Him and Akin have not been the problem for me this evening. They've been on time, they've scored their points, and that one is an FBI super point. That's worth 2.
Gutsy move, running the middle on that super point. Could have gone horribly wrong for Chennai.
I think they're going to have to run it a lot in this league if they're going to be successful, Key. I think that's their strongest option.
Ahmedabad have a little something in the middle as well. I'm loving this look of Ahmedabad. They don't have just one player dominating every single point. They've got something coming from everywhere. And that time through the middle, Burrow doing exactly what he's brought on to do. That quick ball in front with a little bit of space, and he's making the blockers come to him.
And with that, 3 match points for the defending champions in the opening match of Season 3. Here they go. Looks like they will finish this now. Or can Chennai? Yes, they can. They can say, you guys have got to wait. It's still not over.
Ooh, let me just pick my jaw up off the ground after that swing. And you talked about it earlier, Louis. Leah is making a statement that he's able to hit those balls. So earlier on, he was getting some touches on the block. This time, completely full circle, going around the center and having to go back across that angle for the RuPay contactless shot.
And with that, the outside's going to open up beautifully, because he's going to have to pay into that block position 5. If he blocks position 5, he moves further to the right. There's more space at 4.
Ahmedabad will get a chance to spike first. That's often enough for that man. A control one. And with that, the Ahmedabad defenders open their account in Season 3. They came here as defending champions, and they worked like a well-oiled unit, everything going their way. An absolute rout of the home team, the Chennai Blitz. They will get better. It's a long way to go, but that is a sweet start for the defending champions, the Ahmedabad defenders. How is that for domination?
Well, I said it a few times. I just think that was such a well-rounded performance. Every single player contributing a little bit. Max Seneca from the service line bringing the pressure. Nanda coming in clutch with some really quick attacks. Mutu running an offense that was indestructible. And of course, you got Anga Mutu on that angle.
I think it's a perfect start, isn't it? I mean, for the new head coach, Dragan Mihailovic, he's going to be looking for a performance this evening, and he certainly got that. Block defense was on the money. The spread of the offense from Mutu Sami was perfect for me. I can't remember one of the hitters having too good a game because they all got set and they all had a great game. So nobody really stood out in a hitting point of view because Sami was just distributing the ball so well. But for Chennai, you've got to wonder how this season will go for them off the back of that performance. Well, there you have it. 15-10, 15-11, 15-12. The reigning champions, the Ahmedabad defenders, have taken the opening game against the Chennai Blitz. I've got no picture. Well, the Ahmedabad defenders put in the perfect possible performance in the first match of the RuPay Prime Volleyball League. Playing in Chennai, against Chennai, it was always going to be tough with Kim, one of the best middle blockers in Indian volleyball, but after an early Chennai storm that was weathered perfectly by Ahmedabad, they started to find fifth gear. Anga Mutu in perfect shape, and on the wings it was Chennai that struggled. The middle really firing on all cylinders all evening long from both sides, but it was on the wing where this game was decided. Anga Mutu in superb form, but it was led by Mutu Sami. The super point and the super serve both worth 2 in this game, and you feel that Ahmedabad had the better of both of those rule wrinkles that this wonderful league provides. Well, Angamutu again staying high. The defense not quite there this evening for Chennai Blitz. And the perfect start for Ahmedabad here in Chennai underneath the guidance of Dragon Mihailovic. As we have a look at the stats, it's one-sided, unfortunately, for Chennai Blitz. 21 successful spikes. They were so much better at the net, the defenders, this evening. More blocks as well. Unforced errors around about the same. But all in all, it was Mutu Sami running the offense incredibly well, but they had the spikers around him. Seneca and Burrell, the two overseas players, also having impressive RuPay Prime Volleyball League debuts against the hosts Chennai Blitz. Well, the fans have certainly come in, and you have to make your way down here if you're watching at home. It's a wonderful stadium, it's a fantastic league, but it's these fans from the defenders that are going to leave incredibly happy. A perfect day in Kochi, where they won the league last year. They're looking to do the double, and it's the perfect start. But we can see warming up already the team that made the final against the defenders last year, the Bengaluru Torpedoes. They're up next against the Calcutta Thunderbolts in what's a repeat of last year's semi-final. And the Torpedoes, who have a brilliant squad led by Olympic gold medalist David Lee, will be after a better start to their campaign than we saw last year, that saw them lose their opening two matches, but then put their name in the hat for the finals. And they beat this team here, the Thunderbolts, in what was a legendary game that will live in the history in the semi-final. A quick look at the format. It's a single round robin early on here, followed by the Super Fives and the knockouts. Matches in the round robin stage will be 5 sets to 15 points each. Best of 5, sorry. And that's different from last year, where we played all 5 sets regardless. And that's a really fun new wrinkle to this sport, if it didn't already have enough wrinkles already. The scoring system, you get 2 points for a win,